It was my daughter's birthday, and I arrived early at her house carrying her favorite cake. I knocked on the door with a smile, excited to see her face light up the way it did when she was little. But when the door opened, her eyes were full of irritation, as if she didn't even want to see me. "Oh, it's you, Mom," she said flatly, not even looking me in the eye. "Before I go on, make sure to follow the channel and tell me in the comments where you're listening from. My name is Olivia Mitchell, and I'm 74 years old. It warms my heart to know how far these stories travel. Even now, I can still remember the scent of almonds and chocolate from that French cake Alina loved. It was her 43rd birthday, and I had spent 3 months of my pension savings just to buy that exquisite French cake she loved so much. I paid $880 money I really didn't have, but I didn't mind spending it if it meant seeing her smile. The taxi dropped me off in front of the mansion I had helped her buy 5 years earlier, a 3-story house in the most luxurious area of Santa Barbara, complete with an infinity pool overlooking the ocean. I had contributed $90,000 to it, savings from 38 years of teaching at a local college, plus tutoring and weekend jobs. I adjusted my turquoise dress, which I had bought especially for the occasion, and held the cake carefully in one hand and a small silver gift box in the other. Inside was a pearl necklace that had belonged to my mother. 3 generations of strong women. I thought a meaningful gift to pass down. I stepped inside, balancing the cake and the small gift box, already feeling like I didn't belong in that house. No hug, no kiss. I felt like a delivery person. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," I said, trying to keep my voice cheerful. "I brought your favorite cake and a special gift." Alina sighed as if my presence was a burden she had to endure. "Just put it on the kitchen counter. I have to finish this call." I walked alone to the marble-tiled kitchen part of the renovation I had paid for, and gently set the cake on the counter. Through the window, I could see the 11-year-old twins swimming with their instructor. Neither of them noticed me. I stood there, listening to the hollow silence of the house, feeling like an intruder in a place where I no longer belonged. 15 minutes later, Alina came into the kitchen. She looked flawless as always. Perfectly dyed hair, subtle makeup, glossy nails, all of it funded by the loan I had given her 8 years ago to open her beauty clinic. $170,000 I secured by mortgaging my own condo. A loan that had never been repaid. She opened the fridge, pulled out a sparkling water bottle, and asked, "So, Mom, are you just dropping off the cake? Or are you staying for dinner?" Her cold tone cut through me. I swallowed my disappointment. "I thought we could have dinner together. It's been 2 months since we've seen each other." She shrugged, eyes still glued to her screen. "Actually, I already have plans. Marcilo's taking me to Lamor. Just the two of us." Marcilo, her third husband, was a shady investor who always needed money urgently for projects that never existed. The last time it was $3,000, which I had taken from the money meant for my medication. "I understand," I said, trying to keep my composure. "Maybe we can have lunch tomorrow then." Elena rolled her eyes, then finally looked at me directly. Her face tightened, as if she was about to say something she'd been holding in for a long time. "Mom, we need to talk." She gestured toward the stools around the kitchen island. I sat down, my heart sinking. I knew that tone. She had used it since she was little, right before saying something that would hurt me. "I've been thinking a lot about my birthday, about my life, and about what really makes me happy." I nodded, forcing a smile. "Of course. Sweetheart, tell me, maybe I can help." She set her glass down and stared straight at me. That look made my blood run cold. It wasn't love or anger. It was disdain, what I want most for my birthday. She said slowly, articulating each word, "Is for you to disappear from my life. It would be even better if you were dead." The world stopped, the air vanished from the room. I tried to speak, but my throat tightened. "What?" I whispered. "You heard me." She said coolly, "I'm tired of you. The constant calls, the surprise visits, your outdated advice, and your pathetic need for attention." My hands trembled. 43 years of life, 43 years of motherhood, and I had never imagined hearing such words from my own daughter. "Elena," I said through tears, "I'm your mother. I gave up everything for you." "Yes," she snapped, standing up. "And that's exactly why I can't breathe. I need space, freedom. I need to live my own life without you interfering." I looked at the birthday cake, the candles still in their box, everything I'd imagined, the hugs, the laughter, the memories vanished. "But Alina, I just want to be close to you, to be part of your life, and that's the problem. she said, folding her arms. Me being your whole world is too heavy. Take care of yourself and leave me alone. I stood up, my legs shaking so badly I could barely stay upright. I grabbed my purse and the small gift box with the pearl necklace. I left the cake behind, hoping at least the kids would enjoy it. I can't believe you'd say this after everything I've done for you. She smirked. Everything you've done was just to feel needed to control my life. But I'm not a child anymore. I walked toward the door, each step feeling like it took years off my life. Before leaving, I turned back. There was no regret in her eyes, only impatience for me to disappear. Happy birthday, Alina, I whispered, closing the door behind me. She didn't know that in that moment. She awakened a fire inside me that had slept for decades. Not a fire of destruction, but of rebirth. The taxi dropped me off in front of my small two-bedroom apartment downtown, where I had lived for 15 years, since selling our old home after my husband died. I stumbled inside, let my purse fall to the floor, and collapsed onto the old sofa, the same one where I used to cradle Alina as a child, tell her bedtime stories, and wipe away her tears after every heartbreak. Her words echoed in my head like a cruel refrain, I wish you were dead. My daughter had wished me dead as a birthday gift. The pain was physical, pressing on my chest until I could barely breathe. I stayed up all night replaying every sacrifice, every dollar I had ever spent on her over 43 years. When Alina was 5 and diagnosed with severe asthma, I worked night shifts to afford treatments the insurance wouldn't cover. About $900 by selling my wedding jewelry. When she was 16 and wanted to join a student exchange program in France, I mortgaged my condo to pay $12,000 for it. Thank you, Mom, she had said, hugging me tight at the airport. You're the best mom in the world. Those words now felt like they belonged to another lifetime. In college, she changed majors 3 times, and I kept paying tuition without a single complaint. About $23,000 from tutoring and weekend work. When she married her first husband, she had a grand wedding with 300 guests at the most luxurious hotel in the city, and I paid for it all $20,000 for the dress. Imported flowers, orchestra, and banquet. 2 years later, she divorced, remarried, and that wedding was even more expensive and just as short-lived. Then came Marcelo, the 3-story mansion, the beauty clinic, the luxury car I helped buy with $11,000 when the old one broke down, and the bilingual school for the twins, $2,500 per semester. The next morning, I opened the old box where I kept every receipt, invoice, and contract, not because I ever doubted her, but out of the cautious habit of a math teacher. Sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of cold tea, I wrote down every payment, every date, every reason. The total left me stunned. Over $240,000 I had spent for my daughter's happiness over 43 years. And all of it led to this, to hearing her say the thing she wanted most was for me to die. As I stared at the numbers, something strange happened. The sharp pain that had been tearing through me all night began to change into something else. Not quite anger, though there was plenty of that, but a crystal clear clarity I had never felt before. I realized that, for decades, I had been manipulated by someone who saw my love as a tool, not as a sacred bond. If I had spent those $240,000 on myself, to travel, to study more, to buy a better home, to take care of my health, to plan a comfortable retirement, my life would have been completely different. I wouldn't be sitting in this small apartment, counting every dollar of my pension, and postponing medical treatments, just to keep helping a daughter who once wished me dead. At 6 a.m. the next morning, I did something I had never done before. I took my phone and blocked Alina's number. Then I blocked Marcelo's, and then every number connected to their family. A small act, but symbolically powerful. It was my first step towards self-preservation after more than 40 years of living for someone else. I took a long shower, put on my best outfit, a beige suit I rarely wore because I didn't want to pay for dry cleaning, and stepped outside with a clear purpose, one that had nothing to do with my daughter. My first stop was the bank, the same one where Alina and I shared an emergency joint account. I had been depositing money there regularly, just in case she ever needed it. That account currently held about $9,000. "Good morning, Mrs. Mitchell," greeted Mr. Henderson, the bank manager who had known me for years. "How can I help you today?" "I'd like to close the joint account number 4015267891. I replied, my voice calm, even to my own surprise. "Are you sure? There's a considerable balance in there." he said, glancing at his screen. Absolutely. I signed the forms firmly. Please transfer the entire amount into my personal account. Watching those $9,000 return to me gave me a strange sense of power. A power I hadn't felt in decades. But this was just the beginning.